Ekin-su, stand up. Ekin-su, stand up, stand up, stand up. Those butterflies you feel in your stomach is common sense leaving your body. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing okay and everyone is doing well. As always, another day, another Love Island review. A lot of us to unpick and unpack from that episode, if I'm going to be very honest with you. So as I usually and I always say, number one, if you have not yet subscribed, of course be sure to subscribe, join the family. You know you keep coming back, okay? You might as well just subscribe, support your girl. And number two, please, you know, number two, please to get cozy and comfy with your hot Ibina and your snacks. And I really hope you enjoy the rest of this review. Okie dokie, so let's start off with the new girl. As you guys know, in yesterday's episode, we were already told and also shown a glimpse of the new girl. Her name is Antigoni. I think it's Antigoni or Antigoni. I need to try and get that right. I'll definitely make a note of that in the next review. But yeah, I'm going to call her Antigoni for now, so please excuse me if I'm butchering that name. But she's 26, she's a singer and a songwriter, and she's also Greek. I'll be very honest with you, first impressions, she seems like an absolute delight. Honestly, the definition of good vibes. Even looking at her hair, she just gives me sunshine vibes. You know when you see people and they just have good energy, you know, really good aura. She's definitely given those vibes, and I really love her in the villa. It's quite funny as well because when she literally the second she entered, Davide was like, oh, should I make you a coffee? And I'm thinking, yeah, Davide is on it to get to know this girl, which we're going to speak about later on anyway. But I do really like her first impressions. I think she's great. I love her voice as well, very raspy, just a bit and I think she's a Londoner. You know, Londoners have very specific accents, or you can kind of tell when someone is from London. Yeah, she definitely gives me London vibes, but I really like her, I won't lie. We'll speak about when she first entered the villa. Ekin-su that she walked up to her and was like, oh, how tall are you? Oh yeah, we're like the same height. And I remember just thinking, that's a bit weird. Am I the only one who thought of that? I didn't actually pick up on weird things anyway, but even that comment, I just was a bit rattled by it. I thought it was a bit weird. Anyway, we can move on quickly to her type. So she was speaking to the girls and they basically wanted to find out, you know, what exactly is her type. And she literally was just saying, you know, she likes people with really good energy, good vibes. She doesn't really have a physical type per se. I'll quickly briefly speak about Danica, because Danica basically was speaking in the confessionals and she was just like, you know, no one really likes a little competition. And I'm thinking, sis, you're even still here. I actually forgot that Danica was in that villa. So even that one there, wait, okay? You wait there, we're coming to you very soon, you wait there. So let's move on to the girls taking Antigoni. I need to get her name right, guys, I'm so sorry. Let's move on to the girls taking Antigoni, Antigoni to the terrace, and they're basically just updating her on their situation with the people that they are in a couple with. Just giving small gist, just so you know you're entering into the villa. Let us tell you what exactly is going on so that you know whose heads are turning, who heads won't, and who we like in the villa as well. I do think, which was quite interesting, was the difference in how they greeted Antigoni and the energy that they had towards her compared to Danica. If you guys remember when Danica did come into the villa, the girls were moving very interesting, Amber in particular, okay? But sis is no longer there. But the girls were moving extremely interesting when Danica entered the villa. So it's quite interesting also to see the difference between how they treated Danica and also how they are welcoming Antigoni as well. And I'm doing a lot when it comes to my commentary, but I just pick up on these random things. Anyway, let's move on to the guys. So the guys were speaking to Antigoni about how not speaking to Antigoni, they were speaking about Antigoni, about how attractive she is. Jay was also saying stuff like, oh, you know, like, oh yeah, she looks really good looking, and Defo had his eyes on her, and I'm just thinking, oh, do you know who you're in a couple with? Ekin-su is going to rip your head, rip your head off if you decide you want to pursue this girl. I definitely feel like Jay is in the mood to explore his options, and as the episode goes on, we're going to see why. But it is also quite interesting to see the transition between Ekin-su and Jay, and how, you know, they were so whipped on each other, and now all of a sudden Ekin-su seems to be getting more whipped, and Jay, if anything, is starting to take a step back. So yeah, quite interesting. So let's move on to Antigoni and Davide going for a chat. I cannot lie to you guys, Davide is definitely becoming one of my faves in the villa, and I never knew I would say that. I honestly never knew I would confess that on camera, but he's 100% becoming one of my faves. But they were just having a chat about how he has been in the villa, his relationship with Ekin-su in the villa as well. You can definitely tell that Davide is 100% feeling Antigoni's vibe, good chemistry, good chat, and if anything, this is the most I've actually heard Davide speak since the season started. Is it just me? It might just be me, but I honestly feel like this is the most I've actually heard Davide speak. So as they're doing a little bit of chin wag, you know, Antigoni ends up getting a text that it's time for her first date. And I literally was like, you know what? These Love Island producers, they're understanding the assignment this season, because she's literally been here for 5 minutes and you're already going to set her up on a date with not one person, not two, but three. Give it to them, okay? So Antigoni gets the option of picking 3 guys. She ends up picking Davide, she ends up picking Jay, and last but not least, she ends up picking Dami. Yeah, so the second she even picks Jay, honestly, the camera panned to Ekin-su and Sis was not happy, okay? Sis was definitely not happy. So whilst Antigoni was getting ready for the date, you can see that Ekin-su was 100% triggered. So she's even sitting down and Gemma is the one giving her advice. And I'm just thinking, wow, how the tables have actually turned. Not you getting advice from your little sis that you were going to give advice to, but Gemma was literally just like, you know what, if Jay's for you, he's for you, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry, it's going to be okay. And you can just see that Ekin-su is extremely distraught. It's very interesting how the tables were turning, because Gemma giving Ekin-su advice, I thought I would have never seen it. Never. So let's move on to the speed date. Antigoni wore a gorgeous, a gorgeous two-piece. Like I said, I honestly just feel like she emits just good vibes and good energy, so she'll possibly look good in anything that she decides to wear anyway. But she did look really cute. Her first date was with Davide, and I have to be honest, I do feel like that date was 100% cute. Okay, 100% cute. I feel like Davide is actually a certified lover boy, but Ekin-su just brought out his evil side, like literally. And I think that's very interesting as well, because I guess different people bring out different sides to you. Although he's still trying to get to know Antigoni and things like that, it's nice to see Davide kind of like a breath of fresh air, you know, in a new light. He's smiling, he's giggling, he's flirting. Although he was doing that with Ekin-su, we knew how that situation ended there, because Ekin-su really brought out his evil side, and we cannot forget that, okay? Ekin-su, get a day out. Thank you very much. So let's move on to, in fact, before we move on to Dami's date, because Dami's date was next, Love Island producers, as much as they are 100% understanding the assignment, I do feel like the placement of that date was very awkward. As Davide was having the date, Jay and Dami were literally just like, they could see the date and they were just there on the table. I think they had one small beverage like this, and they're just commenting on the date as they see it. Very interesting. Initially, even though we're going to get into Dami's date later, people were thinking, because Jay was basically giving good chat with Dami about, oh, like, yeah, it's like your type, like, you know, yeah, I'll 100% go for that. I was thinking, hey, Dami Lola, Lola, don't let me say your name more than twice. Remember who you have at home, okay? Because Indy is there, and we saw that connection yesterday. We saw that connection. Let's not ruin it. It has not been 24 hours. Thank you very much. So let's move on before we get into Dami's date. Back at the villa, Ekin-su was speaking with Paige about how she was feeling upset that Jay was on a date. As much as I do understand that her feelings are warranted and valid, like I did say, I just feel like she's just being a bit full force, and I don't really think, this sounds really bad, but I don't really think that she should care at the fact that Jay's on a date. Just let the date come, let the date go, and if you guys need to have a chat, then you can have a little chinwag about the situation. I feel like it's low-key given a bit possessive, but it's also given quite insecure, and I feel like the possessiveness that she quote-unquote has towards Jay may potentially be the reason as to why he starts resenting her, because it's almost like, you're holding me tight, but it definitely is early days. So I just found that one quite interesting. I feel like Ekin-su definitely needs a lot of reassurance, and that's not always the most positive thing to have in a situation like this. That's what I'm gonna say. So let's move on to the next date. The next date was with Dami. A lot of people on Twitter as well were already worried, like, hey, it's looking like Dami is giving sis eye contact. Even I clocked it, but I just think Dami probably just knows how to give girls good eye contact anyway. But they were having a conversation. Sarah, breathe. I'm talking really fast. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm definitely gonna try to slow down. But yeah, they were having a conversation, of course, about how he's feeling, how she's feeling. He did say it is an experiment, of course, and he is very open to it. But he is, you know, him and India have been trying to get to know each other. Obviously, it's been a very interesting situation for them both, but things are going quite well. And I was like, okay, you know what, Dami, understanding the assignment, because he's mentioning the girl he potentially wants to be in a couple with on a date. It's making sense. He even called her sis, so I do feel like they probably will have quite a good friendship in the villa, like a bro or sis friendship. But you can definitely tell that Dami is really feeling our good sis Indy. No, that's right. And I feel like him and Antigoni will probably just develop quite a good friendship in the villa. But in terms of a relationship, or, you know, like more of an attraction there, I don't know if I see that happening. So let's move on to Jay's date. Let's move on to Jay's date. So Jay was the final date, right? So obviously he's taken notes from the other two. He knows what to do. He goes up to her, gives a, you know, little kiss, cheek. And I was just thinking, you know what, yeah, I see it. Jay and Antigoni, I won't be mad. I think they look really cute together. They definitely look like they suit. There definitely is a lot of chemistry there. They were just having a conversation really. At the end of the day, it's early days. It's the first time I'm meeting you and it is our first date in the villa. But I feel like even Jay low-key looked like he was blushing. It definitely gave the vibe that he did really like her. And I think vice versa. She also gave the vibe that she did really like him as well. It low-key looked like they were going to kiss, if I'm going to be honest with you. It low-key. But it's definitely too early for that. So I feel like if given the opportunity in the next couple episodes, that opportunity presents itself again, a little smooch is 100% going to take place. In the meantime, let's speak about Luca and Gemma. I don't really want to speak about Luca and Gemma because you guys already know how I feel about it. I definitely already said that I think Luca knows who Gemma's dad is, you know who Gemma's dad is. In case you don't know, Gemma's dad is an ex-professional football player by the name of Michael Owen. They were just having a conversation, I think, about life outside of the villa, you know, what's the first thing that she wants to do when she gets back home. And I think she was like, oh, she wants to ride her horses, because if you remember, she does ride horses professionally. And he was just like, oh, can I watch you? And she was like, no. And I don't know, I just feel like, although she did mention she doesn't like guys that are too clingy, I just feel like Luca's doing the absolute most. Like, Luca is in a doghouse while she's still sharing a bed with Davide. I mean, I don't know. Doesn't give for me, okay? Definitely doesn't give for me, but we move. So let's move on to them coming back. I was going to speak about Danica, Paige and Ekin-su, but I feel like we keep, yeah, it's the same conversation that Ekin-su is having with everyone, so there's not really much to speak about that. Let's move on to them coming back. So of course they ended up coming back, and Davide needs to be put in jail, okay? Davide 100% needs to be put in jail. The second they come back, right, let's imagine this. So Ekin-su is really stressed as the date is going on. The second they come back, Davide is literally like, Ekin-su. What did he say again? Oh yeah, you should have seen this kiss, passionate. What kiss? And why did you say that to her when you know it's going to rattle her head? Bearing in mind, he's speaking probably about the kiss that Jay had on the cheek, but now Ekin-su's probably thinking, what? The guy I'm in a couple with went on a date and was lipsing this new girl. But I honestly feel like as long as Ekin-su and Davide are in that villa, Davide is going to make that villa hell, okay? He's not going to forgive her, and he's not going to forget the disrespect that he had to experience on national TV. But it's just so nice as well to just kind of see Davide make light of the whole situation, and he honestly is becoming a lot of the public's faves, including mine, okay? Definitely including mine. So let's move on to Antigoni. Of course, she was speaking to the girls about how the date was and how she found everything. She did say just a few pointers that Davide was really cute. They asked about her date with Dami. She did say, oh yeah, like he is like really cool vibe and stuff, but it definitely is like a sis and bro kind of friendship vibe. I bet India was relieved, like, oh, I know this girl wasn't going to take my man. But I think that was warranted. I definitely agree. I don't think anything romantic is going to spice up between Antigoni and Dami. So we are still Team India and Dami. I know that's right. And then she was speaking about Jay. So she did mention that she does find Jay quite flirty, and that they did have quite a good conversation, and that chat and the date was actually good overall. Ekin-su was now speaking in her confessionals, and she basically was saying it's just a sucker situation because she's fallen for this guy so much. I was just thinking, Ekin-su, stand up. Ekin-su, stand up, stand up, stand up. Surely this is not the same bombshell that entered the villa a couple of days ago. Rise quickly, okay? Rise quickly. And it's just so interesting because I honestly feel like it just goes to show how much guys can rattle your head when you start liking them. Like, you can be on smoke and you can just be like, oh yeah, but then once a guy comes and he's just like, oh my gosh, like this guy's like everything. Literally, those butterflies you feel in your stomach is common sense leaving your body. Very interesting. So let's move on to the night time. So as the girls are getting ready, they end up getting a cheeky little text. Even me, I'm thinking, text? For what? Producers, give it to them. So they end up getting a text that Charlie, a new guy, was going to be coming to the villa and that they should all glam up because they're basically going to be speaking to him, I guess kind of like a group date to introduce this guy. So we're now introduced to a guy called Charlie. He's 28, he works in real estate. And he's from London. First impressions of Charlie, for me personally, I feel like he definitely is giving me Dr. Alex vibes. Very monotone. I'm hoping maybe because it is, you know, early days, that his personality does spice up as the episodes go on, because right now as he was talking, it's like I could fall asleep. I was definitely bored. So yeah, I don't really know. He just seems a bit rigid. Am I the only one who got that vibe? He didn't, like, I can't imagine him like, you know, doing a little 1-2, a little, he just gives me very, yeah, I mean, so hopefully things change as the episodes do go on. What was actually quite funny though was, even though they got the text, Luca ended up coming into the changing room whilst the girls were getting ready, and obviously they were just like, Gemma, like, you can't tell the guys, and Gemma was like, I ain't gonna tell him now, I'm just gonna go to the terrace. The second Gemma got on the terrace, she was singing like a singing bird. Okay, she was like, okay, so yeah, basically we got a text that a guy called Charlie's coming to, and I'm just thinking, this is just so typical. When a girl's in a relationship or she's speaking to a guy, you tell your man everything, like you actually tell your man everything. So I think that was actually quite funny, but also quite cute at the same time. So the girls end up going for the date, and they're just speaking to Charlie. Once again, I just feel like Ekin-su should rest. I understand she's in a very interesting situation with Jay, but sis honestly needs to rest. Like, she was like, you're 28, and he was like, how do you know? Just like, oh, it's awkward, sis. Do you get it? Do you actually get it? It's awkward. Like, let people marinate. When they come to the villa, let them marinate. It's just too much like, oh, what do you do? Oh yeah, I'm this. You're this as well. Oh, interesting. Like, it's just, yeah, it's just basic. For me, I feel like it's a bit much, but he did say he does like fiery girls. So in the confessionals, literally she was like, oh yeah, he likes fiery girls, and whoa, I'm the fieriest one in this villa. Like, sis, rest. Okay, that's the only word I have for Ekin-su right now. Rest. Okay, just. So as you know, we ended up getting a tomorrow night. By the way, I love saying tomorrow night like that. I realized I say that in a lot of my videos, but we ended up getting a tomorrow night as in the juice that's going to take place tomorrow. The clip that we did get was the clip of Ekin-su and Jay basically having not even a conversation, an argument, if I can say. Ekin-su was saying that, you know, you're the biggest player here, like you deserve, I think she said you deserve a Grammy. Yeah, you deserve, or an Oscar, one of the two. You definitely deserve an Oscar for this performance. You know, she starts clapping, she starts walking away, and it's low-key giving Davide situation part 2. Do you know what I mean? So who's the problem here? I'll let you decide. I'll definitely let you decide. But I think tomorrow will be quite interesting. Obviously, she ends up getting annoyed because Jay says he wants to get to know Paige. I think that's quite interesting because maybe that gives us insight into him and Antigoni not necessarily making it work. Like I said, we'll find out tomorrow, so there's no reason for us to kind of, you know, scratch our heads. But yeah, that is kind of like the wrap up of that episode. As always, I'd love to know what you guys did think of it. Overall vibes, I think Antigoni is a great addition to the villa. Definitely gives me a ray of sunshine. I do really like her. Dami and India are still on track, so I do really like that as well. I guess if anything, the main gist of tomorrow's episode is just going to be centered around Ekin-su and Jay, because as I did already predict and did say, I do think Ekin-su is a bit forward, and maybe Jay is just not really feeling that anymore. And with the constant reassurance that she needs as well, it is slowly starting to push him back, which maybe is the reason why he decides that he wants to get to know Paige instead. Yeah. So guys, that is the end of tonight's review. As always, I'd love to know what you guys thought in the comments below. I honestly love reading you guys' comments, so let me know how you found that episode. So of course, feel free to comment down below. Let me know how you did find that episode. As always, if you have not yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe, join the family, because you know you keep coming back, okay? So yeah, definitely be sure to join the family if you haven't already. But as always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for your love and also for your support. Please do take care, stay blessed, and I shall see you tomorrow.